Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are at. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, my name is Julie, and this is our Thursday Vintage Craft and Chat together. Oh, I'm very late because there's already some people in. I haven't turned my phone down, sorry. Trying to do too many things. Sometimes maybe going earlier is good because I just focus on on the task at hand, and then when I have a little bit too much time on my hands, I try to check things off my list and get things done in the morning. So apologize for being late. Clack Dream is here. Clack Dream. Refresh me again on, do you want to be called, would you like to be called by your actual name? Would you like to be called Dream or Clack? Let me know what you are comfortable with. Let's see, but good morning. I am so excited that you are excited about today's project. I'm excited about it too. Carrie is here. Hello, my friend. Oh my gosh, Carrie, we had such a good time. Didn't we have a good time last Friday? Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Leanne is here. My friend Leanne, how are you? I'm so sorry I missed yesterday. Yesterday was a crazy day. I walked late with my neighbor. I had to get that custom order packaged up and shipped out, that journal order. I had a schedule, so I was very happy to get that out the door. Let's see here. Nettie is here. Good morning, Nettie. Was that storm crazy the other night? Oh my goodness. Did you have hail? It was like a tornado came through here, and it was so loud, thunder, lightning. And Jim got out of bed and we have a light that we can turn on that illuminates the side of the house. And he's like, oh my gosh, it's hailing. Very unusual weather for us. Let's see here. Susie is here. Good morning, Susie. I'm so excited to see you too. Maria or Mary? Okay, good. Let us know what you prefer. What do you prefer? Maria. Carrie's made it official. Maria. I loved it. I loved it. Let me see. Yeah, we had such a good time last week. Let's see. Was Tamara there? Good. I am so glad she was there to keep you company. That is a good thing. Maria. Okay, it's official. I'm gonna write it down just so I get it in my head. I have so many things swirling around in this brain of mine that sometimes it takes a while for things to stick. Hi, Diane. How are you? Welcome. Hello, hello. We are so glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to jump into a couple things. I know we'll have more friends that are coming in. We have to pick the weekly prompt. Oh, I also wanted to share super quick, and then I'll show the journal that we're working on. One of my goals in my vision board journal on the Etsy side and the crafty side of things, let me unclick that, is my goal is to list one handmade thing a month in my Etsy shop. So that's my goal for this year. And I think so far I've hit it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure January, because that's where that custom order came from for journals. So I'm pretty sure that was the original notebook journals that I put up. And the thing that I listed last month sold, one of my last little lovebirds. So I just wanted to share. This was my handmade item I put in the shop today. So if you guys are looking for some Easter handcrafted things, I love making these. In fact, I need to make more. I don't know if I'm going to make any more for the Crafty Marathon, but they are the wooden vintage spools, and I make them into little card holders. And this was my favorite one I think I made for the last marathon, but it has vintage, maybe possibly antique, I don't know, little millinery flowers, and it has vintage laces. And then I always pick a postcard or something fun to go in it, but of course it can be removed and you can put your own pictures, your own ephemera, that kind of thing. But I love to pick out little sweet postcards and then design this spool holder. to the card itself. So that's fun. So that's in my shop. If you guys are looking for some Easter decor, and we have another one of these little cuties in the shop too. So this is a little one of my chenille little chick dolls, and she's awfully cute. So she's available in my shop as well if you're looking for some Easter decor. She's whiting out there. So those two are there. Let me show you first what we are making today. And then let me share some measurements. So today, it's so washed out today. Okay, there we go. Today we are starting a 2-part series. If we feel like it's taking us longer and we want to slow the pace down a little bit, or maybe we don't get as much done each week, I'll add a 3rd week. We're going to just enjoy this. This is going to be a fun, leisurely series, but we are making these easy little mini journals. You know how I love miniature and things that are small. I also think little small projects like this are really accessible. So if you're a beginner paper crafter, if you're a beginner journaler, they're less scary than making a big, huge book or taking a book apart and redoing it and building the spine and all that. I just think these, and I sort of started out that way with paper crafting and journal making, with these sweet little, tiny projects. They're easy, they're beginner friendly, and to this day, I still love making these. So this is our project that we are starting today. And I did want to share, I don't think I put it down in the description. I meant to make a post yesterday and I ran out of time. I did share it in our Instagram craft group. I am using the Dollar Tree time cards as my base for this little journal. So this is what they look like. Some of us had them. If you live near a Dollar Tree, or you were able to grab these when these came out a year or 2 ago. So I'm using this as the base, but if you don't have this, let me share the measurements. So these time cards measure 3.5 by 8 7/8. So 3.5 inches by 8 7/8 inches. So you can easily grab a piece of cardstock, a file folder, a piece of file folder, that kind of thing. I would suggest something that doesn't crack. You know how sometimes the cardstock, when you bend it, it cracks? That is the nice thing about these time cards. There maybe, I think file folders would be maybe the next best thing. Let's see, could you do it? I think these are too small. I haven't even started thinking, let me grab one. I'm going to grab a big index card. Ugh, I have so many in here. It won't let me grab one. Let me see if these are the same. No, these, so I was thinking, because these would be a nice weight too if you had any of these large index cards. They're about 1 inch shy, but you could still make it work. It would just be shaped a little bit different, but definitely something that doesn't crack when you bend it. Sometimes the thick cardstock does that. I don't know why. Let's see here. Let me catch up a little bit. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Everybody is saying hello. I love it. Oh, is Christy here? I miss Christy. Hello, Christy. Oh my gosh, Christy. I love my ATCs that you sent in this sweet little card. So cute. Do you have time cards? Awesome. Yep, Diane's all set. Oh, that's right, Maria, to centimeters. I am number and math challenged and measurement challenged, but I should start doing that. When I put measurements in the description, I should start converting things to centimeters. So very sorry about that, but note to self. Okay, 3 by 5. You know what? I mean, if you have something that's a particular shape, you just have to adjust how, so we're going to do little score lines, and I'll share the measurements on that as well. So you just have to adjust it a little bit. And really, we're making a flap so they could be tall and skinny. You could also take a whole file folder. Like you could take this and make a big version. Maybe we'll do that sometime, or some series. We'll take this whole idea and then we can make a larger journal about or with it. That would be really fun to do too. Oh, do you? Oh, do you, Chrissy? I'm so happy. And I also want to say we do a fun monthly swap in our craft group. And I know sometimes I think Tamara and Leanne and I were discussing it. So the first time that I have a swap partner, sometimes we have repeat. It just depends. Angela does, she puts all of our names in a random picker. So sometimes I've had repeats, but what I decided to do when we entered into this was the first time that I was swapping with somebody, I just did it big. I'm sending like a big happy mail, and that's just something I'm doing. But not everybody has to do that. And then probably the second time I have the person, but that's just my little thing that I decided to do. But I never want to make people feel like, oh my gosh, I have to put these big happy mails together for people. That's just what I'm doing. I have so many things and I like to share and I like to inspire creativity. So I always make that first swap with each person kind of big and fun. That's just what I do. But, and I have so many things. I don't need, I don't need more stuff. So I just adore and love the handmade things. But I'm just trying, I'm trying to inspire all the fun and creativity. Okay. Okay, let's pick, I think I'm going to do the down cam. I have way, if you guys could see my craft room, I have way too many things. Let's see. It's constant organizing, constantly trying to figure out how I can downsize. Here we go. Sorry, I'm going to pull this over. I don't want to make you guys sick. And then we will pick our prompt really quick, and then we'll get into the project. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see what the prompt is. And I'm going to push this back a little bit just so I have a little bit more room. Make sure I'm straight. I always straighten up for you guys, but it's not necessarily straight to me. I don't know what's with this. Let me push my coffee back. I don't want to spill anything today. I'm going to push my phone back. I can still read it there. Let me take a little sip of coffee. I'm a little bit, I am a little bit off today. Oh, Susie, you know what? Let me see. I'm going to go in and I'm going to type it in and then repin the message. So let me type it in here and I'm going to pin a new message. 3. So it's 3.5 inches. And I'm sorry, I should have gone back and put it down below. I'll put it in when we get off today. Where's the X? The X, the little X. So it's 3.5 inches by 8 7/8 inches. Okay. All right. And then let me see if I can repin it. Can I pin this? Replace pinned message. There we go. Replace pinned message. Okay, so now that's at the top. Yeah, and if your card is too big, Maria, you could cut it down or just make a larger journal, which I think would be super fun. But if it's too big and you want to match up to the scoring measurements that I'm sharing, I would just cut it with a paper cutter. I think that would work really well. Okay. Okay, let's see. Hopefully, let me click on that. Yeah, you guys can see the measurements up there. Let me go back in here. Okay, what is the prompt? And I'm behind on the last 2 prompts, but that custom order. That was a learning thing for me. I used to do tons of custom orders in my other Etsy shop, and I've never done it in this shop. So I kind of learned a thing or two. Tag. Okay, tag is the new prompt for this coming week. I may even take this and combine it with the other two. So I still need to do, what are they? Is it, oh, I totally forgot. Ocean or nautical. I think it was ocean. And then we said, obviously it could be nautical, it could be sea life. And what was last week? Fall. Yeah. So I need to do the ocean one, fall, and tag. I may combine. I may combine to get caught up. But again, there's no pressure and no stress. It's meant to be fun. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's the measurements, and let me share a little bit of what I'm, types of papers and things that I'm including in my journal. I got out my, the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. Many of us are really familiar with these books. I've used it very sparingly, but maybe I'm going to use it up this year. I'm digging in. I'm trying not to hoard things. And so you can see I've kind of already started ripping it up. I think there's a couple different versions of this. And I think this is the one that's a little less expensive. I think I bought this on eBay. I haven't been lucky enough to find it in the wild. It was $9.95 originally, but I feel like you can find them maybe not, maybe $10, $12 range. Maybe some of you may know if you've bought it, but this was definitely an eBay pickup. And I'm going to pull out a couple pages here. I'm going to pull out some of the text, which is just so beautiful. I think we might use that. And I think I want a smaller bird. So I'm going to pull those pages out, kind of clear the deck a little bit. Okay, here's a time card. I also pulled out some of this Tim Holtz wallpaper that I have, and I've actually used quite a bit of it. So I pulled some of this out. I'm going to be using some of that. And then I also have these little scraps of that big roll of wallpaper that was my mom's. If I need to pull out a bigger sheet, I will, but I pulled out some of that. And did you guys know you can actually go online, maybe even Pinterest? I think there's a bunch of sites, maybe even Graphics Fairy, but a lot of these, what do I want to say? A lot of these images that Tim Holtz used, they're in the public domain. So I've definitely found this one. I've been able to find this one online and just save it to my computer and make a copy. So you don't have to have the Tim Holtz wallpaper. I bet all of these can be found online. Just type in Google or Pinterest, type in maybe free antique wallpaper images, and you probably will definitely find it, because I know those are on there. And I've even seen some of the images that he has in his die cuts and things are available. And I've just pulled out some other papers. I'm just kind of working with this color palette of neutrals and pinks and greens, kind of springy colors. Here's from a book. What do I want to say? Kind of like a flower graphic kind of thing. So I just had some scraps of that. So that's kind of the stuff I pulled out. And of course, whatever supplies you have, you can change it up. Work with what you have. I want to pull this out too. I have little bits of, this is so sweet. Like an antique letter. It's just beautiful. Look at the back of that envelope. As you can see, I've kind of used it sparingly, but I need to start using the stuff I have. I think I made some necklaces out of it when I was doing soldered jewelry, but I pulled this out because I think I used the other one I had piece. Get that off. And then the other thing, I'll show you the little die cuts that we're going to do on the inside, and these can be found online too. So these are just antique images. You can probably type in antique egg images or antique egg, what do I want to say? natural history images, and you can find these online. I'd also look on Graphics Fairy, but we're just going to make little die cuts out of the eggs. And then I discovered this the other day in my stash, so I'll probably use that as a way to show you how I make those. In fact, here they are. So I kind of already made some ahead of time. I'll stick those there. And then the other thing I'm using, I had a bunch of these. Again, I've been hoarding them, but look, they are not, the covers are falling off. They're not in good shape. So I can't really express why I've been hoarding them, but I've started digging into these. This one is, let's see, this, I think they have several colors. They might even have a red one, but they have the Green Book of Birds of America. There's the Blue Book, Birds of America. What's this one? Look at this one too. This almost looks like it has little kids writing. It almost looks like it would be an autograph book. And I think I picked all these up at, oh, and yeah, and this is the Red Book. That would make sense. Red Book, Birds of America. And I picked these up at a local flea market, and they were really inexpensive. So I shouldn't be hoarding them. But that's just an overview of the stuff that I picked out. And then, of course, I have some of these Tim Holtz, these little die cut snippets. And I think this came from you, Leanne. Look at this beautiful ribbon. I don't know where she got it, but I love it. It's tiny, but it's kind of like that, not bias tape. What's the other word? What's that other ribbon? Okay, it'll come to me in a second. But it's kind of a thin, tiny version of that. So that's really, really pretty. And also I am using, you don't have to use the large size, but I had some of these kind of jumbo fasteners. So that's another thing I'm using. But if you have smaller little brads, that would work too. If you don't have brads, you can actually make like a little button, and you can make it out of cardstock if you don't have those. So you can just improvise. All right, let's get this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to open this. Oh, and then we're also going to play a little bit with that new technique of using the Scotch tape on text. So when we get to that, I'll share that. Oh, there's a lot going on in this little project. Okay, so I'm going to grab a time card here. Let me get that one out of the way. And then I'm going to share the measurements on how we do the little score lines. So the makeup of this little journal, we have a little spine here. So we're going to score in order to get that spine. If you can kind of see, we're creating a little spine here and also a spine here. And then we have this little flap, flip-flop flap here. So we're going to do the score lines here, and then I'll go slowly and I can repeat them as well. And actually I should probably type them in. Okay. So I'm going to grab my score board. I'm going to grab my time card, and we are going to score lines at, let's see here, 3 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully this is right. Let me count again. 3 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to score that at 3 5/8. And I'll go back and type those in too. And then we're going to do 3 7/8, so that we were at 5, 6, 7. 3 7/8. And then we're going to score at 7 1/2. So that's going to start to create that flap. So 7 1/2, and then 7 3/4. And here's the 7 3/4. And as you're scoring, you're going to find that you can see that that little spine on each side is the same. Okay, and then let me type those in. I'm going to update this pin. Let's see. I'm going to retype it, Susie. So let's see. So the, what do we want to say? Journal, I'm going to call it journal base. Journal base equals, or journal base is 3.5. 3.5 inches times 8 7/8 if you're going to do this exact size. But of course, you can just play around with whatever size scrap or file folder that you have. Okay, so that's the journal base. Whoops. Oh, I hit it too hard. Let me see. Let me type it again. Okay, let me concentrate here. Journal base is 3.5. Inches times 8 7/8. I will try not to hit send. Okay. Oh, that's why I guess I can't do the return, huh? And then I'm gonna put a bunch of spaces. Hopefully it'll, and then the score lines are three and 5/8. 3 and 7/8. 7.5. And 7 3/4. Okay, and those are all in inches. Hopefully that worked. Okay, and then let me repin that. So hopefully replace pinned message. Okay. Okay, Susie, hopefully that will help. And that's pinned at the top now. Hi, Terry. How are you? Hello, hello. Okay. Great. And Maria's going to do hers 10 by 15. That is perfect. Okay, here we go. And yeah, you can play around with it. You might want your spine to be a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner. So really, it's just taking, you can just take the same basic idea and just run with it. Okay, so I have my score lines here, and I'm going to come in and fold those. Okay, so we see we've created that left side spine, I'm going to call it. And then here's the right side. Okay. And if you don't have a scoreboard, you can certainly use a ruler, and it's just something that's going to give you a score line that won't go through your cardstock, time card, file folder, that kind of thing. Sometimes like a little stylus would work, or a bone folder would work. So you can just use that straight edge. And so this is what it looks like if you scored it. Okay, and then there's our little flap. All right, easy, easy peasy. Okay, now we are going to get into the fun of just collaging. So we're just going to do relaxing collage. I'll probably look at mine a little bit and as a reference, just because it'll make it go a little bit quicker for me. But this is where you just enjoy, you just have fun, you relax with it, use whatever supplies you have on hand, whatever theme you want to work with. And well, let's look at this a little bit. So I'm going to use some of the bird images. I'm going to use some text. You can use book text if you don't have an Edith Holden book. Oh, I forgot to get out the stamps. So I'm going to probably add a few stamps if I can. some of the labels. If you don't have the Tim Holtz, you can definitely make your own labels. You could, if you have label stamps, you can stamp them on textbook pages like text, and that looks really beautiful. So just play with what you have. And here's the inside. And I'll show you how I made those little eggs. It's probably pretty self-explanatory, but I like that they have a little dimension. So you can see I kind of made them into little die cuts so that they're a little bit raised on the page. I thought that was kind of pretty. And then here's the back, just so you guys can kind of see for reference. And we're going to cover the inside of the flap as well. So I just took like botanicals, just anything that kind of played into the theme. Here's the front of that flap. And then here's the back too. So ooh, I like that nest. Maybe we can find a nest in the Edith Holden book. Okay, so there's kind of the back of it. And I think what we'll do, let's work on the outside first. I think I want to work on the outside. And then you guys can kind of see that. And I'm probably going to craft a little bit more and try not to chat as much today. You know, that's hard for me because I like to chat. I certainly like to chat. So I think occasionally I'll look up if you have a question, maybe type in all caps, and then occasionally I'll go back and kind of check and see if there was anything that I missed. But I'm just going to relax and kind of have fun with the collaging, and hopefully you guys are as well. Okay. Okay, here we go. It's raining. You guys might start to hear the rain. It's raining again today. Okay, I'm going to pull out some of this wallpaper. So I think first I'm going to cover this flippy flap, whatever we want to call it. So I'm going to grab a piece of this wallpaper. And the one thing that I like to do, just so that so that everything folds well, if you can kind of see here, so we have our fold lines, but I'm leaving a little bit of a space. I don't even know what that would be called. I don't even know what kind of measurement, but can you kind of see how I'm not running the collage papers over those score lines or even right next to it? I'm leaving a little bit of a space. So I think you can kind of see it right there, because if you cover those score lines, you might have cracking. It won't close as well. You can see it kind of has a nice open and close and kind of a nice hinging there. So that's one little thing. So I'm just going to turn this over and grab my pencil. And so when I'm measuring, I'm going to leave a little bit of space. And I'm leaving a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. Oops, I did not grab my paper trimmer. Let me go grab that. Okay. I'm going to do this. Oh, I do want to chatter and share. So I don't know if I had talked about it. So my little cutter thing got super worn out and I just kept using it. But when I was doing those 4 extra journals that I had to do, oh my gosh, I wore it out. They were getting really shreddy, especially the really thin papers. But these Fisker, the replacement cutters, are super, super expensive. And so I thought I would try and get a more economical version. So they're not the Fiskars one, but I got a 4-pack and I think they were like $5. And I did put the link down below. It's an affiliate link, but I put it down in the description. So they're a little bit smaller. But boy, they cut really well. They're a little bit smaller in that maybe they kind, you know, they kind of come out of this little opening a little bit more, but just where you're replacing it. Hopefully that makes sense if any of you have the Fiskars, but I was really happy to find these. Gosh, I don't know. What is it, guys? Is it like $9? It's something really crazy for the Fiskars, the quantity of 2. So that was a happy find this week. And it's very frustrating when things aren't sharp. Oops, that one I'm going to cut a little bit closer, I think. Oh, no, I probably can't. I cannot do it. Well, it's probably close enough. Okay. Let me see. Yep, that'll work. Awfully short there, though. Yep, that's going to work just fine. And ink is going to be our friend, or at least it's a friend for me, because I'm kind of going with that antique, kind of aged, grungy look. So I'm going to be using lots of ink on my journal. So we're going to ink that up. And actually, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to come in and ink up my base. I skipped that. I skipped that step. If you're using a file folder, you may not want to, because they're that nice, you know, if you have the creamy colored ones, you might not need to or want to. If you're using decorative paper or cardstock, you might want that to show on the edges. And we're going to do all those score lines. Like, I think this would be really cute if you had like children's book images, that kind of thing, and maybe you had a really bright cardstock or paper as your base. I probably wouldn't want to ink it. I'd probably want that bright kind of white pop of color as a contrast. I think that would be really sweet, like Dick and Jane images or something like that. Would be awfully cute. And we're going to do all these score lines too. Here. Hi, Benny. Little kitten. Little kitten's walking through. It's very intrigued by the rain. There we go. Okay, pretty inked up. Okay, this is back to that. Okay, I'm going to grab my art glitter glue. Some things, depending if they're super thin, I may be switching off between the art glitter and the glue stick. It just depends. Sometimes with the art glitter glue, when the paper is super thin, it shows through and you get that little kind of ripple look. Okay, there's our first piece. Okay, and then what I did in this particular one is I actually took a strip of the wallpaper and lined the spines on. Well, I guess this isn't a spine. I keep calling it a spine, but I lined both those skinny scored sections. So this one here, and I also did it on the inside. I just thought that looked really cute. And actually this side where we'll be sewing in our signature, it just fortified it a bit more. So let's do those sections. And I'm going to grab something that's maybe a little bit more contrasting. I love this green. And these are going to be very thin. Hopefully I can just cut all of them at once. Let's see here. see if we can. Since we need 4 of them. Okay, I think what I'm going to do, so you may just measure like this. I guess I could go the other way, huh? Well, I'm just going to do this. Probably doesn't make any sense, but it's quicker. Let me see, that way, if I did it this way, I like to cut it this way. I have a little bit more precision. Oh, look at this. It just broke, you guys. So much. Well, that might be so much for the cheapy things. That literally just broke, didn't it? All right. I might have to take back what I just said. What the heck? Let me see. It might just click in. It does just click in. Oh, maybe that's what happened. Maybe it wasn't together. So there's like a little thing that clicks in there. So maybe that one just wasn't put together correctly because it seems pretty strong now. Okay, we have 3. Put this back together. Goodness gracious. And I'm going to do one more. There we go. Okay, and this original was what? Let me see here. That was, of course, it doesn't line up exactly. It's kind of right there. My little like thing I've been doing lately is I keep a little piece of washi tape, and if you have something that you're cutting many of and it has kind of a weird, like it doesn't end on a line that's really obvious, I'll put a little piece of washi tape, and then that way I can easily cut multiples of things. So let's do that really quick. Because it's kind of a little odd measurement. We have 1, we have 2. We have 3. Save all these little pieces. You never know. We might use those inside. And we have 4. There we go. Okay. I'm going to ink those up. Make sure those are good. Yeah, they're a little wider. You guys can take time a little bit more at home, or if you're going back and watching the replay, you can take a little bit more time to be a little bit more precise with your measurements. Hi, Khadijah. Oh, good. Yeah, post a picture. I would love, love, love to see. Would love to see it, Maria. Could post it on the community tab. Let us know too, Maria, if you want to be added to our Instagram group. We have that little on Instagram. Let us know. Either find me or Angela, dear Angela's Vintage, who I don't know if she's still in the chat. She was in the chat up above. You can message either of us through Instagram and we can add you in. It's also nice too. I usually will post the link, the Thursday link in there. I'll usually do it the morning of, so it's easy to click on to the YouTube link for the thumbnail. It's just a nice group. Everybody's super sweet. And a lot of people that are in the chat right now are in the group. Okay, there we go. Let's glue these down. And if I'm missing anybody, hello, hello. Super cute. And I'm going to just go ahead because I have all of these cut. I'm just going to glue all of them down. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but it's so relaxing. Very relaxing sound. Okay, we have those. And I'm going to turn it over and glue these down on the inside. Yeah, it is hard keeping up with all the social media stuff. I do, well, it's by default. I do post things on Facebook just because I have it auto set to do that. Anything I post on Instagram, but I don't know. I don't understand Facebook at all. It's so confusing. Also, I think it posts everything to my personal page, not like day trip page. In fact, I know it does because my neighbor across the street, the husband of the family that lives across the street, he was out walking the dogs and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm following you on Facebook now and I'm seeing all those like cool things that you buy. And I like, where do you even find them? And so then I realized I was like, oh no, that's all stuff I'm making. So he's like, what? You're making all that stuff? I think he was thinking they were like vintage things or something. But I don't really post, things for sale in my shop vintage wise. So he was laughing. But that was kind of funny. Okay, so we put our little wallpaper pieces down, and I think that I'm gonna maybe put a little piece of wallpaper up here, and I might even use this one. I kind of like that. I'm gonna give that a little bit of a straight edge. And I think that will almost fit perfectly there. I'm going to rip off that little piece because we have it. Why not? I love that bird nest. Let's see if maybe we can find one of those or something that just even gives us the same look and vibe. Oops. It didn't slide up the way I wanted it to. It didn't that way either. Let me try that again. It's stuck in a weird way. Go like that. Okay, there we go. That's stuck down. Well, maybe we'll use that on the inside, or I'll grab another piece that has a little bit more texture to it. Okay, let's use a piece of this Edith Holden text. It's maybe put a piece of that there. Actually, I think I'm just going to dry fit it right now. Let's see if we can find a bird nest. I don't know if there's any more bird nests. Oh, I could use this. Ooh, that would be pretty. So this is like little printable. What did I do with the, oh, let me grab the little Edith Holden book and see. But I can use that same printable or just something that's bird-like. But we could use botanical. I love these birds. These eggs are pretty. That's pretty. I don't know if that's too big though. Let me see what other options we have. Oop, snake. We don't want to use a snake. Those little birds. We'll get lucky and be able to find 2 nests. Butterfly is sweet too. This is pretty. This little botanical is kind of pretty because it has the pinks and the greens. What is on these pages? That's very fall. I feel like that one's too big. That's a big bummer. Let's see. Well, let me do a little rip and see if it's going to work. Look at that beautiful egg right there. Oh, lovely. And if you had one of these books, you could actually take all these individual eggs here and make the little die cuts. I think what I'll do is I'll shorten it a little bit. Oh, sweet. Okay, let's use that. Okay, so we're going to have that. We need a little something back here. Let me see here. Like that. Okay, a little bit of dry fit. And where is this? Let's see if we take a little bit of this antique letter here. This side is awfully beautiful too. I'm just going to crease that. I kind of like the ripped look on some of this. I like the little bit of texture it adds. I think I'll do the same here so we can keep as much of the writing as possible. So beautiful. Yeah, so we're not on the signature part right now. I'm just collaging. So right now I'm decorating the outside And then we'll see how far we get today. We're kind of going to leave this a little bit loose, and then we'll move on to decorating the inside. And we won't get to the signature until next week. So next week will be building our signature, choosing our papers, and sewing the signature in. And we're going to do a little 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And here's the little dangle there with some buttons. So next week will definitely be the signature. We'll add little tabs, we might want to collage some of the papers. Where's that inside one? Like this one had some text that I wanted to cover up that I didn't love. So I just did a real quick little simple collage on the middle page of the signature. So yeah, next week we'll work on that. Let me turn this back over. Let's see here. I think I like that. Let me try this just in case. I sure hate to cover up that beautiful handwriting. Yeah, I think we will do that. Let me look at some of my other pages here. I also have that really beautiful. Oh, that might be pretty. Let's see here. Let me rip this a little bit straighter, because I guess it's sort of a shame to cover up the Edith Holden text since this is so big. Let's see what that does for us. All right, because a lot of it's going to get covered up by the bird. That doesn't really do much for us. Just play around with it a little bit. We got that. We have our bird. Oh, I kind of like that. And then maybe we'll have a little bit of the Edith Holden. We can save this for a different page. I don't know. I like something about that little botanical. Whoops. And it's just a little black and white, but I like that it has a little text on it. Little handwritten. And it just fits very nicely there. So I think we'll use that. Hi, Sonia. Yeah, if you don't want to sew in the signature, you can also staple. I have stapled many a time, especially with little journals like this. Stapling is another great option. I've done that many a time. You could also use a little piece of elastic, and you could use that to attach your signature in. That's nice because the pages can be removed. So that's a nice option. Okay, let's just put a little bit of this down here because not much is going to show. Maybe about that much. We can be a little bit stingy with our Edith Holden. Main thing is we're using it. Okay, that's perfect. What's your favorite way, Sonia? Do you have a favorite way of attaching signatures? I always like to explore. All right, I just had it. I keep losing it. I don't know if it's the rain today. It's getting very dry. There we go. It's like it's drying out as soon as I put it on here. Okay, that there. And let's give this a little bit. That's pretty, and maybe we'll find a vintage stamp we can put up in this corner. I think would be nice. There a label or a stamp? It's pretty. Love that. Let's see. Okay. I was just looking. You see a little peek there of the page. I was going to put a little strip of something there, but I think we're okay. Woo, it's drying out. It's crazy. Yeah, tie-in is a really great way. I also haven't explored with a little tiny journal like this or this small using the little metal rings, but that's also a nice way. Okay, I'll do that there. That's nice. And then I want a little something up in this corner. Let's see here. I have a bunch of these little, oh, that's cute. Maybe one of, these little Tim Holtz, the little tiny snippets. I think those might be the perfect size. Let's see if we can find something that has a little bit of pink. Oh, that's it. That is it. I like that. I think that is pretty. And then maybe, let me grab, where's the book? Let me grab. Get this out of the way here. Let's see, I'm going to put these over here. So my little papers over here. We don't need this quite yet. And this I'm going to put over there. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, let's clear the deck a little bit. I'm wondering, so this was that Scotch tape kind of thing that I was playing around with a little bit, and I had used, because this was like the something new I was playing around with, and it actually worked much better today. So I didn't feel like it was super successful the first couple times that I tried it, but I used a matte piece of Scotch tape and placed it over the wording, and I did this kind of this morning right before we went live. And where is it? My bone folder. Here it is. And I just used, this is like one of those Martha Stewart bone folders, and I really burnished it. So I think that's what allowed it to work a little bit better this time, was to burnish it a lot more. And I don't think I did that last time, but I think it worked really, really well. And this is old book page. This is an old children's book, 1955. So it's got that kind of thick paper, thick pages. And yeah, I think that worked out really well. Maybe we might use that down below. Let's see here. I kind of like that. Might have to my scissors here. Let me get these little decorative ones. That's probably not gonna, oh, that won't cut it either. It like won't rip. Oh, there we go. It did rip. Looks kind of pretty. Let's see. It won't rip that way. So let me take my scissors. Maybe I'll just kind of jaggedy cut it a little bit. Oh, that's kind of cute. Okay, I like that. I think we're going to use that down here. So let's ink this up. Let's age this little label up a bit more. I'm going to do the little bendy. Might even rip the edge a little bit. Kind of going for that. Maybe this is, what is a bird person? Ornithologist? Maybe we are channeling Edith Holden or bird lover, ornithologist back in the day. That's really pretty. Let's see. Oh, that would be such a cute idea, Sonia. That would be adorable. That would be really adorable. And play around with the stapling too, or using elastic or using ribbon. I've had good success with that. Can be used to store address, means of retrieving addresses. Yep, thank you. These are great little friend mail. Cute little thing you can stick in your purse or your bag. Okay, I'm going to see if I can ink this up a little bit. And it is taking the ink nicely, which is good. Maybe I'll even try to do some at the back of it. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to stay over time because it's the Scotch tape, but it's the matte. It's the matte one. I think that's pretty good. Oh, that's cute. All right, and I'm going to art glitter glue it. Okay. Go. Ooh, it is so dry today. What is going on? Maybe the whole glue itself is kind of dried up down in there. Oh, that's cute. It's really sweet. Okay, let me give it a big shake. It doesn't feel like it's shaking very much, so. And let's glue that down a little bit more. There we go. I think that's what it needed. A little shaky shake. Okay, so that's where we are now. We can come in, we can add some other things, but I think that's pretty good. We'll move on to the next section. I'm going to hit that with a little bit more ink. And maybe hit that with a little bit of ink because that page was a little bit kind of newer looking. Okay. All right, now I'm going to grab one of these little images out of my bird book. I think I like that one that's up at the top. Let me do a little flippy. Here, these are all so sweet. There's really, oh, look at that one that has a little bit of pink to it. Ooh, maybe I like that better. I like this one. I don't know. I love the tone of this one here. What is this? Pine grosbeak or grosbeak? How do you say that? Grosbeak? Grosbeak? That is beautiful. The only kind of sad thing about the book is that there's images on both sides, but we're not going to focus on that. Did I use one on the inside too? Let me look. Let me remind myself. I did not. Okay, so we're just gonna use the one. And I'm gonna cut this one out. I'm gonna do a real quick fussy cut. Put these papers over there. That's the only bummer, but my motto this year, if I have it, I should be using it, especially when they're falling apart like this. And I do have a few that are in pristine condition that I found in my stash. I'll eventually list those on Etsy. Let me get my trash can a little bit closer here. I think this is the one I liked. Yeah, that's the one I liked. Let me ink that up. Yeah, a ribbon has such a lovely feel. I agree, Sonia. It's elegant, it's pretty, especially if you're going for that kind of look and feel. Okay, so we have a bird. What else do we want to add here? I think we should use this somehow because we didn't use that on the other. So that would maybe almost work there. I kind of like that. Let's see, maybe a little bit of Edith Holden. See what else I have here. Oh, I like that. So this doesn't quite cover. I could do another piece, or maybe we have something that would look pretty there in the corner. I had this little watercolor piece. Let me look in my book and see if I have more, because that doesn't quite do it. Oh, look at this piece here. That might be too much like the... Oh, it's too matchy-matchy. Too matchy-matchy. Maybe, oh, I know, another piece of that wallpaper, this blue wallpaper maybe, but I think I need to have a bigger piece of it. Let's see. Let me grab a bigger piece. That's not very interesting to me. It might be in here. Let's get a bigger piece of that out. It's kind of like a puzzle. You just have to play around with it a little bit. And I feel like you always know when you hit that point when it's pleasing to your eye. Huh, what happened? I thought I had like a really big piece of that wallpaper in here. Am I missing it? Did I pull it out? No. Am I going crazy? Huh. Okay, so it's not in there. Let me grab out the other one. Oh, maybe it's it's in the, that would make sense, right? That I would keep it, that I would keep wallpaper with wallpaper. Here it is. That does make more sense. Okay. Oh, cute little die cut. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, look at that bird. Maybe we need to use that bird somewhere. maybe on the inside. Okay, I'm going to try to rip a little bit of this tree here. Oh, I love that bird. Let's rip that. Let's leave that here. I think that's pretty. Yeah, that's nice. So we have a little bit of wallpaper here, a little matchy. We're kind of tying it in a little bit. And ooh, that's kind of pretty there. We might run that way. And let's get our little bird here, little bird title. Was that the one it was? Although that's prettier. It's not a purple finch. Oh, maybe that was the one I wanted to use. I like the name Purple Finch, and I think that's the purple finch. So we're going to use that one. I think that was the one I wanted. Okay, let me ink that up. Okay, let's ink all our pieces and parts. Oh, okay, yeah, an egg. Should we put an egg on this side? That would be awfully pretty. An egg and a stamp, I think, would be pretty. I see your thought process, Susie, and I like it. Okay, we're going to end up cutting some of that off. In fact, let me mark it. I'm going to cut it with the paper cutter if I can. I'm going to make this a little bit straighter up here if I can too. That'll be there. That'll be there. And maybe about like that. Cut it at the cutter. Okay. It's always harder when it's small and fiddly like that, huh? Okay. Okay, like that. We like that. We like this. We have our bird. I think I'm going to rip. I cut it, but I think I'm going to rip this a little bit. Just 'cause. Maybe like that. That'll be kind of somewhere there. Yeah, and then we're going to put a little piece of this there. I like that. We're going to have that, kind of see where we're going. And then, yes, a stamp and then maybe an egg with it. Let me grab out my stamps. And since we're kind of that pink family, I think I'm going to grab out my little bag of pink ones. These are kind of pinky purple. Blues. Although I'm not minding that. There might be some like gray greens. Probably have way too much here, but let me kind of see here. I think because we have a lot of pink going in our bird, let's kind of look at the greens, or if we can kind of find like a little grayish something. Like that's kind of nice. That might be too bright, but we can tone it down with the ink. But I love that it has the postage mark. What is that? 1952, 62. Oh, it's beautiful. That's really pretty. Let's see what you guys think. That's too big. Oh, I feel like I kind of like that one. I don't know if I should keep looking, hunting. I kind of like that. I'm going to keep that out too. We may use that somewhere else. Now, let's look at these really pretty bird egg images that I found. Oh, that'd be pretty. Okay, that one's really big. And let me look at these. So I started working on these little die cuts. I'm going to do a little fussy cut, but I think this one might be good. Let me look at these three here. Yeah, maybe we should use this one so that we can save these for the inside. Let's do that. Let's throw all caution to the wind here. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this out. Oh, I put away the, I knew I had that out for a reason. I had a cardstock out and I put that away this morning. I'm going to grab it back out. Here. There we go. I'm trying to be clean. I was trying to be clean. Okay, let's put that over there. Okay, so I think maybe I'll cut like three pieces, I think. And the reason I like to do this is, of course, I could just fussy cut this and I could glue it on top here, but I like the dimensionality. Is that the correct word? I feel like sometimes with stickers or when you're gluing things down, it ripples. You know what I mean? If the stamp is a little bit raised and then this paper is really thin and I'm gluing it down, does that make sense? It doesn't look as elevated, and I don't mean elevated because it's thick. You know, we're making it look, I guess, similar to the Tim Holtz die cuts in a way. I'm going to see if I can think of the right word. And actually, I'm going to use glue stick because it's super, super thin. So this is copy paper. Now, of course, and I just happen to have it in copy paper. I also, if it had been copied onto a thick piece of cardstock, maybe I would just cut it out and glue it on like that because it would have a little bit of a thickness and it wouldn't look as cheap, I guess. Maybe that's not the right word either. And we might get away with, I think we're going to do 3 layers. And we got to let it dry a little bit. What's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, super good idea, Sonia. And I've done, I'll see if I can find it. Did I do it on, I don't know if I did it on a tutorial, but I've done little similar notebooks or little mini journals like this. And I've used the window envelope as part of it. I'll have to see. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. Let's let that dry a little bit, and then let's ink these things up a little bit. I can't remember. Occasionally I should go back and I should look at my old videos and things. But I know I've made something like that. I just can't remember if I've shared it. I may have done it for a weekly prompt. Let's see here. So that's going to be like that. Let me give this a little bit of a, well, actually I think I'll cut that. Sorry, I'm talking to myself a little bit. I think I'll cut that edge rather than rip it. This is kind of precious when you find this beautiful handwritten letter, so I don't want to kind of waste it, I guess. Okay, so that's eventually going to go here. This is so cool. I think I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Maybe not have as much white on the edges. And I'm going to rip that top edge. Let's see here. Oh, what did Sonia say? I'm in doll stamps and copied and made an armoire from large envelopes. It had feet. Oh my goodness, Sonia. What? Me too, Susie. I forget all the time. Sometimes I'll forget, and then, because this is our dining room, and I'll like walk past, like in the evening, many hours later, I'll walk past the table here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and all the tops are off of the glue, art glitter, glue stick. I'm like, what? That's pretty. I feel like it needs a little, I don't know, a little more. It's a little too, do that a little bit. Let me glue that. I'm just gluing the stamp down to the little backer. Okay, so I think that's probably going to go right about there. Oh, you know what we want to check? I just thought about that. Let's look to see. So when we close this, because this is going to be our front, let me see what happens when we cover this up. Okay, I'm okay with that. So this is going to be right about here. Also, we could do that. We might want to do that just so we can see it. I think let's do that. We're going to switch this over here, and then we'll do a little fussy cut of the egg and see how that looks. Yeah, I think we'll make that switch. I'm glad I kind of thought about that. Okay. All right, let's start gluing some of these things down. Oops, see, I didn't put the top on this. Yeah, we don't put the tops on. We're just having too fun. we're really concentrating when we're crafting. We're really focused. We're not focused on the glue. Okay. All right, we have that piece there. And we have this piece here. Yeah. Oh, there's the gardener. You guys hear the gardener? I heard Jonna was saying that the other night, I think, when she was, where was it? Oh, I think it was her live that she had last night. How my gardener always shows up on Thursdays. I didn't think he would come with the rain. I was hoping he would just take the day off. I mean, not in a bad way, like a good way. When it's raining, I feel like that. I feel like, oops, make sure. Is that the right one? Yeah. Like that's their opportunity to have a, rainy day schedule and just enjoy or do other things. That's how I kind of look at it. Okay, that's cute. I think I'm actually going to run that over a little bit. Let's see here. Ooh, yeah, I like that you can kind of see that behind the flap. So I'm going to do that. I like that. Okay. And maybe I'm going to do glue stick on that. Just because it's so thin. Cute. Okay, now let's figure out this. Okay, like the stamp there. Oh, it's Denmark. Oh my gosh, I love it even more. I love it even more. Okay, and let's do a little fussy cut and see what this egg turns out looking like. Let's see if we love it. I don't remember. It was something I was originally going to do with these eggs. The ones that I used in here, I made them a long time ago and they were just in a box with little fussy cuts or I don't know, labels or something like that. And I rediscovered them when I started making this. I thought, oh, those would look so cool on there. But I think originally I wanted to make some kind of nest. Like I had some really cool, like that packing paper that's like in strips that sometimes comes in things that we get. And I don't know, I wanted to make some kind of a dimensional nest, if that makes sense, with that little ripped paper and then have the eggs coming out of it. But I think it was one of those where I had whoops, that's the wrong one. I had the idea, but it didn't look right when I went to go put it together or when I went to play with it. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. Oh, so pretty. I'm going to show up close. But the pastel of it all and then adding the ink to it. Is that pretty or what? Like, look at that. That is so gorgeous. It doesn't look like something that you just printed out on a computer, like a flat piece of copy paper. I don't know. It just it looks so cool. I think it has the coolest look. Okay. I'm hoping this looks good. Oh, do we like it? What do we think, friends? Okay, so this is going to go down here. I don't want to glue it just in case we move anything around. Okay. And also maybe I'll grab a little bit of lace maybe, or some, what do you think? I think we need like a little bit of texture. Okay, so this is going to kind of be like that, maybe behind. What do we think? Do we think the egg is too much? Maria likes it. Let's see. Let's see. Sonia says, I think a rainy day would be an excellent time for recording because the grass outside is wet. Perhaps you reside in a warmer climate and grass quickly dries. Normally I would say that, but it's so loud. But I think you guys aren't hearing. But I think if I was recording, yeah, we don't have attic space on our roof. We just have like a really thin layer of like insulation. So we have the wood beams, the wood roof. Our house is like mid-century style. And so we don't have the cushion for the attic. So when it rains, it's so loud in here. And then of course I'm right by a big sliding door. And so there's all that, kind of noise from the rain. I can hear it hitting the barbecue and stuff. What do we think, friends? Yes, with something else, like I think it needs a little bit of texture, right? Some ribbon, some lace. What am I thinking? Let me see what I have. I'm just standing up here. All right, I think I'm gonna we're gonna look in there like cheesecloth maybe. I'm gonna grab just a couple things here. We could also do a little bit of material. Ooh, what's this? What's that? I have all these like weird, that kind of interests me in some way. And this is kind of pretty. That has some pretty coloring. Ooh, what is this? I don't know what that is. Oh, this is something too. Okay, I grabbed it. I grabbed a couple options here. Now that I'm looking, I don't like that, so that makes it easier. I think I have some like satin. Look at this. Is here. Oh, this is what I was looking for. That might be something that we like. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me put that on the floor. I don't want to get too crazy, but this is pretty. Whatever these are pretty. That might be useful somewhere, but let me get a little bit of this cheesecloth here. Okay. All right, let me flip this. Well, let me figure out. I think in general we like that. So let me figure out where this purple finch is. Let me just look at something here. I mean, this isn't anything I did on the other one, but let me take a little bit of this lace here. I love the lace. Okay. And I like it right there. I'm very disorganized today. I don't have any of my glues. I don't have any stamps. Put my cardstock back. Okay. wanted to get some of this fabric tack, and I like it, I think, right there. That's about where it was. I like that since we're going to add a little bit of texture at the top. I like a little bit of texture down here. And we'll see if we can find some opportunity to put some lace in some other spots too. Oops. Okay. Like that. And actually, I think it'll just stick down. I have so much glue there. And so we got fabric tacked it on the one end, and we'll add a little bit of art glitter here. There we go. And we don't have to fiddle with that anymore. Perfect. Okay, now let's go back here. And we need a little something. Maybe I am going to cut a little bit of this. Maybe we'll want that too. I'm thinking probably this will look the best. It'll be a little bit light and airy and kind of mimic, I don't know, maybe a little fluff of a nest, maybe in some way. We'll see what we think. Oh yeah, that's cute. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this stamp down because I think we like that. Yeah, I'm trying very hard to go with the flow. We're going with the flow, Susie. I do sometimes. Well, when I'm just sitting creating by myself, I definitely just go with the flow. But as you guys know and can tell, I'm very picky. Like little details, little details mean a lot to me. So I do try to tell myself, okay, just be loose, Julie, just be loose. Just go with the flow. I love that. Okay. And I might put a little bit of this down there and a little bit of that on top. Let me see. Might not even matter because you might not really even see that. No. Okay, I think we're just going to use this, and I'm just going to stick it down and maybe wrap it around the egg a little bit. It'll happily work itself out, I think. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, let me use a little bit of fabric tack. That. Press that down. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the front, and we're going to wrap. We're going to wrap that around there a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see that, just to kind of tie it in. So we're a little bit over the top there. I think that's pretty. And I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and I think we'll come back and maybe we'll hit the cheesecloth a little bit. Okay, got that. Push this stuff out of the way here. I think we are looking good. I might add a little bit more off here to the side. Kind of liking that. Yep, I'm going to add a little bit more over here. Not be so stingy. Come this way a little bit. Yeah. Oh, super cute. I loved your suggestion, Susie. Okay, so that's kind of that's what we're looking like. So I think I'll hit it with a little bit of ink, maybe a little bit of green ink. But yeah, I think that's pretty good so far. We could come in, oh, we had that there. I do think I want a little bit of book page because I think that would be pretty to kind of tie that in. Let's see if we can do that and not squirrel too much. I think on this particular page, let me look. I think there was something else on this page, if I can find it, that seemed, there was something about a tree down here. Oh, maybe this. We could use this out of the tree. Let's use that. Okay, let me grab my tape. And I think we're going to use this kind of matte, this matte tape again. Let's use that. Okay. I think that seems like it kind of goes. Okay, so I just laid it over the book page, and I am going to varnish the heck out of it. And I don't know if it makes a difference in the brand of tape, the, you know, is the stickiness different when it's the matte versus just shiny? I don't know. I would think it's probably the same, but I think that was why it didn't work as well the first time I tried it. And I might have just done it a little bit too much just there, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, now I can't get it up. All right, see, it's not working as much. Yeah, it's not as good as it was earlier in the day. So that's interesting. Same tape, same book. Maybe it's the way you rip it. Maybe it's the way you rip it. So see, it turned out better on the left side than it did on the right side. So definitely I need to keep playing with this technique, but I think you can see enough, hopefully, of the word tree. And you can, it's interesting, yeah, you can kind of see through there. So it might be like how high you lift it. I don't know. I think that's going to take some perfecting. I'm going to keep that page, but let's see what it looks like. I don't think I want this cow. It says cow here. I'm going to kind of cut that off a little here. What time is it? Let's see. Whoa, 1:49. Okay. We may have to break this into 3 parts. We might have to do, I should move a little bit quicker. Okay, I want that about there. But I don't need so much here at the end. That's the one thing about this tape, though. It's hard to rip. All right, I'm going to try to ink it a little bit. I'm going to ink a little bit behind it. Okay, let's just glue it down. That's cool. And that's pretty. All right. Oh, I think that has a really cool look. Let's see. Oh, really, Susie? You don't burnish it? You just lay it down and rip it? What kind of, are you using like vintage book pages? Okay, so I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit too. Whoops. I'm trying to get to my mouse so I can go up. Maybe we just have to have a whole day where we're just playing with it. Ooh, what is happening here? What's happening? Messing up my thing here. Interesting. Okay. Oh, hi, Clint. How are you? Let's see. Three parts or four. You're saying 3 parts or 4. Okay. All right, let's ink this a little bit. So we could probably we'll go for like another 15 minutes or so. And then, so down in the description, I already have the link for next week. So you guys can go click now, click later. So I already have next Thursday's set up and it says part 2. But I think what I'll do is I may go in and change the thumbnail up a little bit. Like I can even use the thumbnail for week 3 and whatnot. I'll change it up a little bit, but at least the picture may look different next week, but at least it's there. Okay, I was trying to add a little bit of green. Let's see. Susie said she was, you were using Reader's Digest pages. Okay. From the Reader's Digest books. Yeah. Now you sound like me, Carrie. Okay. Let's add in a little bit of green. It's not really picking it up. It's kind of that turquoisey. It hit it a little bit. Ooh, I'm gonna put I like it. I'm swirling now. I like that green. I'm gonna add a little bit. Okay, up there. All right, so there's our cover. Let me give a little bit of close up. I like where we're at. We may decide we want to add a few more things in. I'll probably come and hit that a little bit. Or where's my texture stamp? Let's see if that does something. I feel like I want a little something on that cheesecloth. Let's try this. Let's try this. We don't know if it's going to work, but let's try this. Yeah. Okay. That gave me a little bit of something that I wanted. And so maybe in the end we'll come back and we'll hit this a little bit. I like that. But that'll be kind of a finisher there. Maybe when we get the inside and the outside done. Okay. I like where we're at. Let's for sure though, let's add our little fastener in here and at least cover this and we'll see how far we get in the next 15 minutes or so. I'm just kind of giving it a look here. What kind of paper I want to use. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. Let's get our fastener here. Oops, we got all kinds of stuff here. We're so messy. And these are, what size are these? It doesn't matter. I would say use whatever whatever fastener size that you have. It says these are 3/4. So they're just a little vintage box that I happen to have, but use what you have. And if you don't have these little fasteners, just like we made the egg, you can make a little like a faux button. You could use a real button. You could make a little die cut, like a little circle with the circle punch, and you could use that too. If you have like a little eyelet or a little brad, you know, you can kind of use what you have. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this fairly centered here. Don't have to be super, super exact, but I think we're fairly close there. Okay, so there's my center. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Probably should have done it the other side of the page, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, and I think I'm actually going to grab my ice pick. And I'm going to start the hole with that. So I just made a little hole there with the ice pick. Just a little started because of course that's flat and wide, but it gets us started so that it doesn't rip. Okay, so we're going to put that through. And the reason why we're doing this next is we want to cover up the legs here. We don't want the legs to show. Okay, so I'm just doing it enough so I know I'm going to have enough room. I'll just use this. I know I have enough room to get the ribbon around. Whoops. So if the ribbon is flat, I have enough room to get the ribbon around. So you can kind of tell when you're doing it. And I'm just going to flatten those with my finger a little bit. Make sure I don't put myself into a corner too much. I think we're still good. I'll just do a little test. Yep, we're still good. Okay. So we're going to come in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this with a little bit of Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to kind of hit that a little bit. It kind of goes under so it doesn't twist too much. I'm just going to kind of leave it like that for a second, and let's get some wallpaper. I used that one. Oh, let's use the stripe one. I think that's pretty next to the green. I think this isn't straight to begin with. Let me go this way. I'm going to get in that glue. Yep, that's good. Ink that up. Whoops. Did you go to Hobby Lobby, Angela? You know what, Carrie? I think you must have a really good Hobby Lobby because you find all kinds of great things. And maybe it's the size of the store. Is your Hobby Lobby really big? Ours is small. I don't remember what was there before, but they don't have like a good clearance section. It's very sad. And I think probably because our store is a little bit on the small side. Okay. All right. So this will be a little bit raised there, but once your journal is built, you won't notice it as much, but you don't want it. It's hard to get it super, super flat because then you won't have room for the ribbon. Does it go that way? Or I guess it goes this way. Yeah, sadly, we don't have the good clearance stuff. And is yours like a section, like a clearance section? Yeah, you get really good clearances. Your hauls are really, really good. I'm trying to think of ours. I think it's just one little tiny thing, like end cap size maybe. And I don't go that often, but then when I do, it's like there's nothing really good in there. It's kind of hit or miss. Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, it's 2 hours. Maybe. Oh, thank you, Susie. You know why it's good too, Susie? Because of this. It's good. It's good because of this. That is one of the things I love about going live and crafting and creating are these little special moments that happen, which this wouldn't happen if you guys weren't with me and you weren't with me, Susie. So that's what I love about doing these lives. Yeah. Jana's here. Jana. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about your sale today with Khadijah. I have it marked. I think I've gone a couple times, and yeah, do I have the notification? Like every time I see you guys post something, I'm still clicking on it and making sure I have the notification hit. Jana, put the, let's see, I'm sure you're blue. Yeah, you're blue. Put the link in. So I'm sure you guys all know because every time they've been coming in any of the lives for the last couple weeks, Jana and Khadijah are having a supply sale today, which is going to be epic and wonderful. I already know that. And it is, when is it? I think I looked this morning again because you posted something and I clicked on it and it said it was like 5 hours from now. So what is the count? What is the countdown now? And I saw you were working on cute little things last night during your live. So I know it's going to be fun. So maybe we're only like 2 hours away or 3 hours away. I think that's what we're going to do. I was thinking that we would do a little collage action on this side, but I think we'll want to wait until we, collage both of these sections because maybe we won't like what we want to do here, or maybe we'll want to tie whatever we put here to what's on this page. So I'm thinking this is a good stopping point. So I'll change the thumbnails in some fashion that it makes sense. So let's think about what we're going to do next week. Let me put the lids on and then let's plan out. Let's plan our it's all dry. It must be 5 Eastern. Okay, so that's 12, so 2 hours. It's in 2 hours, right? Am I counting right? Let me go. My fingers. I think it's 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it's exciting. That means I can eat lunch because it's noon. I can eat lunch, work on a couple things. Oh, you guys, this is terrible. This is also, I broke my pin a day or two ago, so this is a brand new pin. I wonder if it's the pin. Maybe the pin isn't as wide as it needs to be, but everything is dry. It's all over my fingers. Won't even go down. Okay, so let's look here. Okay, so next week, so we're gonna wanna work on these sections. I'm just thinking out loud here so we can kind of plan out. Plus we can also, if you guys are working along with me, you can also pull supplies out and I can put it down in the description. Okay, so we're going to finish, got it right here, finish collaging inside. Because that won't take the whole time. I think we're kind of a little bit on a roll. Okay, so next week we're going to collage these sections, and we already know how to do the egg because we did an egg on the front. So and these are already glued, so I might even I might even fussy cut those and have those already inked up. So it's not going to take us this long to do that section and that section. That'll go pretty quick. So then I think what we'll do, we won't sew the signatures in. Maybe we're going to start to pull our pages. I wonder how long that'll take. Yay, it's there. Yeah, I think it's 2 hours. Let me look. Yep, 2 hours. Exactly. Okay. Awesome. I don't know. Maybe we could get done in 2 hours. Probably not. Because I like to do the other fun thing I did, we'll add some laces in. It's kind of fun to come in and do little tabs. We can make tabs with ribbon, tickets, that kind of thing. So that'll take a little bit longer. I'm indecisive. But all those little extra details, those could be done at the end. So, okay. So I think we probably can. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do if you're working along with me is to pull some papers for next week, because I think we can get through collaging these sections and sewing our signature in. I think we can definitely get through that. And then on the third week, we'll come in and we'll add tabs if we want to add, laces, that kind of thing. Also, you can pick buttons if you want to do a little dangle like I did. So I have these little vintage buttons here. So then the third week can kind of be finishing up. We'll do tabs, we'll add buttons. Maybe we'll want to come back in and do, different kinds of inking. Maybe we'll use some different colors, that kind of thing. And if we want to zhuzh things up a little bit, yeah. So next week will be finish collaging the 2 sections and sewing signature. And then I'll add a third week in for finishing touches. And then third will be finishing touches, finishing, labels, adding trim, that kind of thing. Okay, I think that makes sense, right? I don't want to go through it too quickly. Yeah. Time flies. Okay, let's look at the papers just a little bit so you guys can kind of start thinking. And I'm going to also count. Let me count here really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I just have 11 pages. And I think think that's pretty good if you followed along with the same measurements. I think 11 is pretty good. That leaves room, or you could even cut it down to 9 or 10, depending on how you want to use the journal, if you're going to be writing in it, if you think you're going to be gluing. Now, I didn't come in and do any type of tuck spots. I didn't do belly bands or tuck spots. I think probably I will be using, or I would use it more for collaging if I wanted to add some more writing space. I don't have any. Oh, I have this big. I have the hugest pile because I just got through doing all that big custom order. So I have tons and tons and tons of writable paper, graph paper, ledger paper, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be pulling from this a lot. In fact, I could do a million these little journals. I have so much paper here, but those are all the cutoffs. So yeah, go through your stash here. But I have some tissue paper. It's kind of a little bit of waxy tissue paper. I have textbook pages. I had some cute bird images that I pulled out of a bird book, graph paper. Here's actually like a children's nature book. I don't know what that is, like an invoice. Oh, it's like a work order form. I had some little offcuts of paper that I added some stenciling with paint too. We won't go over that, but that just happened to be. And then this side, what I did, this will be great for the finishing touches. So obviously you can't write really well here unless you're going to put, but I don't know. This is such a small size journal. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense, but you could get really mini if you wanted to put pockets and little tuck spots, and then you could put little tiny tags and things in. But so this side, just to give it more writing opportunity, I just put a piece of graph paper there. So those are just the kind of pages I have in here. That's from an old stamp book. That's from an old receipt, which of course is great for writing. And same thing here. So this had some writing on it. So I just added some little scraps of paper just for a little bit of writing space. Little stickers, that kind of thing. Okay, I think that's a plan, friends. I think that's a plan. We'll get 3 weeks out of this. And then I don't know what we're going to do after that. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Dope burnish, just rip. Okay, I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit. And maybe play around and see if it makes a difference with the type of pages. Thank you, Carrie. Okay, awesome. Yeah, Deb, yeah, email me a pic because that works really good for you and I, the emailing. It's perfect. And then I can share that next week too, Susie. Whatever pictures you send me, I'll share them next week so we can all see. Oh, Maria, let me type in. So it's really easy. It's the same as my channel name, but it's Gmail. So let me type that in here really quick. Oops, I'm in next week's already. Let's see here. And you don't have to put the caps in. I'm just typing some in caps because it's just easier to read, I think, when it has some caps in, but I don't think it matters, upper or lower. I used to have it in my information, but then I was getting all these like, your channel's terrible. You should, anybody that has a channel gets it. You should be doing this. Your channel should be bigger to optimize. Let's see here. Okay, so there's hopefully you guys can see it. Oh, thanks, Angela. Thank you. Okay, so there's my email there. So yeah, if you have any pictures to share, and then when you send them to Maria, let me know if you're comfortable with me sharing next week, because then I can share them on screen, because I know everybody loves to we all like to enjoy, we all get so inspired from each other. So give me permission to do that. And then also goes without saying, if anybody wants to post to the community tab, obviously it's there for all of us to see. And I will share any pictures you guys post there, any inspiration. And I checked this morning before I came on, and there wasn't anything new in the community tab. Oh, do you want to look at the Edith Holden? Yeah, let me grab it. I think this is the book. So this is what it is if you want to take a screen print. So it's called The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. And here's the author, Edith Holden. And I would say, even if this is, I don't know why I just want to keep saying $12. I think that's what I paid, $11 or $12. Maybe I got it from thrift books, eBay, that kind of thing. I think thrift books maybe on eBay. And does it say there? So there are, if we think in terms of if we're buying like a paper pad, how much are paper pads sometimes these days? So this has, and of course, when you're buying books online, they never show the inside pages. That is like my pet peeve of all time. So it says here 176 pages, and it's gorgeous. Plus, beyond the 176, you're getting these beautiful pages that have beautiful text. These are like all the plant names and the animal names. I mean, this is gorgeous right here to collage with. It's gorgeous. And look at that. Like some of the pages have the full illustration. Some have where you could fussy cut. That of course is the only bummer, is that sometimes something might be double-sided. Let's see. Well, I guess if it has an image here, it has text on the other side. So I think that's the one good thing. That seems to be, although look at this page. Look at that beautiful spread. So you do have to decide. But you could rip this out and fold it and use it as a signature. That's probably what I would do. Well, I don't know. Maybe with this page, because if you fussy cut the birds, you're going to miss out on that. But gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Highly, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. I'd almost want to frame that or put it in, take it out and maybe display it, frame it, or put it like in a little mini clipboard. Oh, look at that be. So pretty. Okay, good. Okay, Maria, good. I will look out for that. Oh, it does? Oh, that's interesting, Susie, that the covers are different. This one is, I definitely think there's some older ones. So this is from 1982. So it says copyright. That's a good thing too, Nettie, to look up. Copyright limited 1977 and 1982. First published in hardcover in 1977. So maybe that makes the difference too. Is your a soft cover, Susie? I know they have a hardcover too. Maybe we'll look at that online next week too. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that you got a good deal. Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking $12 for some reason, but also eBay has that great function where you can follow a search, and then every time the book comes up and it's posted, you can follow it and probably snag it. Oh, yours is 2018. That's interesting. So maybe even the newer publications are cheaper. That would be good to look at. No hardcover. Okay, soft cover too. Okay, my friends, I loved today. I think we did. What did I do with it? I already lost it. Oh my gosh, what did I do with it? Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, it's right here. I couldn't see it. Okay, so there's our, but I think we did really well today. I think it's beautiful. I'm excited to see once we're done. So yeah, I think that's it. Everybody go to, I will see you in Jana and Khadijah's live sale in a couple hours. Let's see, what did Nettie say? Oh, that's interesting, Nettie. It says facsimile. Maybe people are copying it now. Is she in the public domain? Obviously, people do things even when things aren't in the public domain. That's very interesting. Okay, I might do a little look-see this afternoon, and then maybe I'll post in our craft group. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I would say, too, if people are copying and it's a facsimile, it might not be the yummy paper, right? The paper may look a little bit different because obviously this has that really nice matte paper. Okay, that's probably worth doing a little investigating and a little deep dive. Okay. All right, my friends. I will see you in a couple hours, and I will see you next Thursday, and I will post updates. Love you guys.